Hello, guys. Um, there was almost no electricity all day today. They're like, well, it's not as bad as it could be, but usually I will have electricity for 3 hours and then won't have it for 5. It's scheduled to turn off, I think, at 3 a.m., which is in an hour. So, haha, we're gonna try to wrap up by then because I really don't want to not do that. Okay, let me add up the donations that came in over time, or rather, like after hours, I like to call them. 102 point. I did put them on the. I did put them on the. Like I did shout out the people on community tab because that was really nice. So that brings us to $432.68 for my classmate who is at the front in Donetsk. He is great, and he also promised to join us on the 29th, which is what, Friday. So he's I don't know what time yet, but he's going to come over, and that's his girlfriend actually is going to be here. So I think maybe she will be with me and he will be on the screen. We will like put him on the screen. She's visiting. She's doing the swim off. You guys have met her before through my TikToks if you watch them. Her name is Yulia as well. She's a competitive swimmer, and so she's going to be in Kyiv at like a Dnipro River competition thing. I actually didn't even realize that she was going to be here on Fridays. Oh, 29th is Saturday? Oh, right. Okay, Saturday. Well, I mean, she's still going to be here. She's going to be here until Sunday. You know who else is going to be here tomorrow? Just take a wild guess. I'm going to set the scene. So someone calls me and tells me they are driving over tomorrow with their dog, and so I'm going to have a dog, this member of my family, and Yulia here. And while I so love this member of my family, I adore them. I also love unannounced drop downs, from members of my family with no notice whatsoever. So who is going to be the lucky winner of guessing which member of my family decided to just drop themselves on me with their dog? And they were like, I can sleep on the couch. And I'm like, we both know you're not going to be sleeping on the damn couch. So that means that Yulia is going to be sleeping on the couch. Whoever said my dad is wrong. Because of the mobilization laws and, drafts that are just, people getting mobilized on the street, my father, thankfully, is unable to just drop down on me, with no notice, because he does not cross state lines right now in his vehicle. So, yeah, that's great news. My mother, however, she's coming. I'm excited to see her. I'm excited to see her. Here's the thing. I don't have electricity for 4 to 5 hours a day and three times a day. So it's like, 3 hours I'll have electricity, 5 hours I won't. So that means that during the night, usually, I can't use the AC. And it's been scorching. Like, it hasn't been hot. It has been so humid that you can't breathe. Like, I took a picture on the couch today and I was just like dripping sweat by just sitting on the couch, And I'm just like, I love the idea of having to not only sleep in bed with Cindy, who is already a portable heater. She's a tiny little portable heater with little legs, like tiny little portable heater. But also with another human and another dog, another little tiny portable heater. I love it. I absolutely love it. Also, Cindy can climb 15 floors. If if need be. Like, she'll be pissed, but she'll do it. And she also will not be like dying in the middle of it. She's a very fit French bulldog. She's like your average normal dog. My mom's dog is not going to climb 15 floors. My mom is also not going to carry her dog up 15 floors. So I'm assuming that it's going to be like an interchangeable scenario where like I carry him 5 flights, she carries him 5 flights, I carry him 5 flights. You get the gist, right? And the dog is 12 kilograms. That is 20 something pounds, you guys. It's just very cool. Anyways, what type of dog does your mom have? She has a French bulldog, but she has like a very typical French bulldog. You know, the kind of dog that like sleeps all day and doesn't necessarily like long walks. You know, he really hates the heat. Like, he will hide and not go outside. He can like poop indoors when he doesn't want to go outside because of the heat. You know, he's lovely. He's lovely. He's also like a boy dog, and he's not sterilized. So there is and I'm sorry for the detailing, but like there is, let's call it goo coming out of him like 24/7. And my mom has these like little wet wipes that she carries with her because she legitimately just cleans it instead of sterilizing the dog. But that's fine. You know, it's not like I like my couch or rugs that much anyway. You know, yeah, it's totally cool. It's totally cool. We're going to be fine. We're going to be great. I'm going to be great. I love when my mom visits with her dog. Hello. So yeah, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be great. I'm, you know, fantastic. Totally cool. Me? Problems? Me? Not feeling like this is going to be a great situation? No, never. I mean, I love it. I'm so excited. So yeah, heat not good for doggies on their paws. Yeah, well, I mean, yes, but like, yeah, but there's also a lot of grass and like, it's really not that hot. So the thing is like, it's not really hot. It's really humid, but French bulldogs don't like either. Grass пробили прямо. Yeah, so yeah, also you guys, Cindy is doing well. So see, there is like this account called Chloe, right? So that is a friend of mine, and she has a French bulldog, and her French bulldog was pregnant. She's not a breeder. She just wanted her French bulldog to be pregnant. And so usually French bulldogs have like 3, 4, maybe like on a very, very, very good litter, 6 puppies. Okay. So her dog gave birth to 10 puppies. So she currently has 10 puppies, and she has a whole account with like where she posts everything that these puppies do. And it is honestly very relaxing. It like makes my day most days. So if you guys want to like, you know, just have a French bulldog overdose, that is the account I quite suggest you follow, because, you know, it's 10 tiny little baby French bulldogs. Why wouldn't you follow it? If you are on YouTube, then I'm very, very sorry. Je suis désolé. But I don't know why I said it in French. Martin is gonna laugh when he reads it. But yeah, you're not gonna be able to see the French bulldogs unless you go on Instagram or you go on TikTok. But yeah, there are 10 little French bulldog puppies. I'm actually gonna demonstrate it to you because I feel like, you know, you can't really understand what's happening there until you see it. So, okay. These are all the puppies. Okay. I think my phone is glitching. My phone is definitely glitching. One sec. Okay, here. There's more. That's a whole daycare. Yes, it is. She does call this area a jail. Anyways, if you want to see, you know, daily updates on these little creatures, you're going to have to go to my Instagram and find Chloe, or, you know, in the TikTok comments, you can find her TikTok account. But that doesn't look like a jail. That's a daycare. I mean, you guys, those puppies, like, I was there. They're adorable and they're so cute, but they also poop and pee everywhere, like every 2 seconds. They bark, they fight with each other, and they're very adorable. Gario, I do have news. It's not another rant. What I do is usually when I start the live for the first 15 to 20 minutes, we catch up. And you can check back in about 10 if you'd like to come in during the news. So this is, the comment is pinned, and you guys can go check it out. It's a madhouse, but it's a great madhouse. Grumpy, don't be mean. Okay, let's do the hellos. Hi, Nick. Why are you not sleeping? It's midnight in the UK, and I know that you're not as nocturnal as I am. Hi, Mark. Hi, John. Hi, Archer. Hi, Niels. Hi, Blank. Oh, hi, SoCal. Love Southern California. Hi, Martin. Hi, Prexis. Hi, Carolyn. Hi, Odin. Hi, Karen. Hi, Mr. Squiggle. Hi, Colette. Hi, James. Hi, Animal. Hi, Kristen. Sorry. Hi, Colette. Hi. Okay, you guys, I'm lost. Hello, PB. Hi, Maxtrax. Hi, everyone on TikTok as well. I think I've said hello. Hi, Gina. Hi, Ed. Hi, Kurt. And hi, Pietro. Oh my gosh, I did it. Hi, Everett. Good evening from Missouri. Oh my gosh, why can't I speak today? Yeah. So I think actually we're ready for the news tonight, and also I do want to make it in time for the blackout. Ohio here. Oh, hi, Thomas. Ohio is basically another oblast of Ukraine. I'm joking because I know that Cincinnati is a very, very Ukrainian area. But okay, so we're going to get into the news. I'm also going to remind you guys that the fundraiser for my classmate, Mikhailo, who is in the Donetsk direction, and he is... So I can't quite explain what he does because it's technically reconnaissance, but it's also like assault reconnaissance. It's electronic warfare, but it's done at the front line. So he is at zero line at the front. They live in houses that were abandoned by people in a lot of cases because basically it's not some units have bases. They don't. They are literally... in the epicenter of it all. Hi, Chad. Good to see you. Also, hi, Debbie. And hello, Antalya. So, yeah. That's kind of where we are at. And, oh, that's Lviv. And in the fundraiser, we are at $432.68 out of 4.6,000. The reason I'm not sure is because it's a list. Give me 1 second. I will read you everything that's on the list again, because I have been sent a list by my classmate of everything that they need. And I haven't learned it by heart yet, though usually, give me a couple of streams of repeating myself and I will remember every single thing. That was an error alert for Lviv. Okay, so it's Shepa generator, which is $470. It's an EcoFlow Delta Max, which is $1,470. Lenovo Yoga 6 laptop, which is $889. Lenovo Legion tablet, which is $568. And this electronic warfare complex called Zhizhitsa that basically intercepts video from Russian FPV drones. So our soldiers can see what Russian soldiers see on their FPV drones, and that is $1,234. So altogether, I was right. It's $4,630, although I will say that because he was looking up these devices in Ukraine, they're in hryvnias, so it's it's an equivalent of about 46.30. I would say a safer number is probably 47. But also, I think we're going to go item by item. Right now, we are raising for the EcoFlow because that's the most expensive item on the list. And I think it's better to get the high ticket items off the list first, which that is 1470, and we are at 432.68 out of that. So we are almost a third of the way. Do you think we guys can make it to 500 today? That would be lovely. In the meanwhile, Russia will not stop the war with Ukraine during possible peace talks if they start, according to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Russia will not stop the war with Ukraine unless Ukraine surrenders and promises Russia full disarmament and gives Russia territories that they've illegally invaded and occupied and those that they didn't manage to illegally invade or occupy. So, no thanks. Thank you, Melissa. We have always said that we are ready for peace negotiations. And then every single time you say that, you also send guided munitions and missiles our way. So that's really reassuring. And that seems to be so real. Oh my gosh, we totally believe you. Anyways, but we will not halt the special military operation during the negotiations period. We have already had such an experience and were deceived, as happened in April 2022, Lavrov stated. Well, no, in April 2022, you literally demanded that Ukraine, you know what? I am going to play you the video that I recorded, and that's about the peace deal that Ukraine and Russia were negotiating in Istanbul. Heroям слава. That was not a peace deal. It was a surrender deal, and it was an ultimatum. Here's what it is.
Perception that Ukraine and Russia had a valid peace deal in Istanbul in 2022, and bad Ukraine didn't take it. Yeah, there was a peace deal on the table, but there is a catch. It wasn't about peace, it was about full capitulation. Since we never take the words of Ukrainians at face value, let's take New York Times at face value, shall we? Ukraine would become a neutral state. Keep in mind, Ukraine was already a neutral state, and 90% of Ukrainians only want to join NATO since 2022 and Russia's full-scale invasion. The security guarantees that other countries could provide us would only involve consultations, not security guarantees. Russia would have veto power over military intervention of those countries that guaranteed us security. So if Russia attacked us again and somebody wanted to step in, they could veto it. We would have to fully surrender Donbass and Crimea to Russia. Ukraine would have to limit the size of its military, which was already limited until the full-scale invasion. Russian language would become the second official state language in Ukraine and continue to push out Ukrainian language. Also, Ukraine would have to rewrite aspects of our history to Russia's liking so it would fit their propaganda, and we would have to confirm it on the international arena. The New York Times mentions in its article that every party that has heard this agreement thought it was terrible. One American official said,
I wonder why.
You understand that this is unilateral disarmament, right? This one's my favorite. When Polish President Andrzej Duda met with NATO leaders and asked them which one of you would sign it, everyone stayed quiet. Absolutely everyone knew that this was a terrible deal. There was no peace in it. It was literally capitulation. Capitulation that would allow Russia to continue its colonization of Ukraine that it has been doing for 100 years, but now on an official international level. If you think Ukraine didn't sign the peace deal because silly S, imagine this was about your neighborhood, your house, and your children. Which one of you would sign it? Which one?
Yeah, no one would. It was not a peace deal. It was a capitulation. Oh my gosh. It was a capitulation ultimatum. And of course, Ukraine wasn't going to sign it. And it's funny because Russia talks about it like there was this real peace deal, and Ukraine is so bad for not signing it. And they offered it. They were so generous. Meanwhile, again, it was literally an ultimatum, and it involved unilateral disarmament and also us stripping all of our protections. Literally, that deal included Russia vetoing intervention of the countries that promised us security, right? So it's basically we would be left absolutely helpless. Yeah, right. Who wouldn't sign that, especially while Russia, invades us every couple of years? Also, Zaka Green, thank you so much. when I do ask that if you send something through YouTube, do please let me know if it's for the fundraiser or for me, because I don't know. And also, with fundraisers, YouTube is tricky because YouTube pays out like a month later. So I think whatever is donated before the 1st is going to hit my bank account on the 22nd. So anytime someone donates something through YouTube, if the fundraiser is closed earlier than the 22nd of the next month, I substitute it with my own money and then compensate myself, which if it's $20, it's doable. If it's like 100 or 200 or something like that, it is quite hard to do, because that's that's quite hard to do. But no, please, I mean, yeah, if it's for the fundraiser, then it's for the fundraiser. So that is $20 for the fundraiser, which is $452.68. The reason why I say to specify is because I used to always, anything that would come into my accounts, put it towards fundraisers, and then at some point, some people started writing captions and specifying what's for the fundraiser and what's like a, sort of like a support sort of thing. And I realized that a lot of the stuff that was just sort of like a support sort of thing was not taken that way by me, because anyways, I really hate these conversations. They're so awkward. Anyways, the fundraiser is at $452.68, which is amazing. And we're going to talk about the next item on the docket, which is on the night of June 24th, the Space Communication Center in temporarily occupied Crimea was struck. This facility supports communication with modern Lotus-S spy satellites and GLONASS navigation satellites, the Russian equivalent of the American GPS system, according to Forbes. The publication notes that this is why the armed forces of Ukraine are targeting this invaluable space base for Russia. Since December, Ukraine has attacked it twice with missiles. Located in Yevpatoria, this facility was originally constructed in the 1960s and 70s as part of the Soviet space program for communication with lunar and Martian probes. Also, thank you, Zeko. That is very, very sweet of you. Seriously, thank you very much. But so yeah, first of all, let's talk about Crimea a little more here. Russia, especially our favorite little horseman, Lavrov, has been saying that, this attack that Ukraine committed on Crimea the other day, the deadly, deadly attack that managed to injure and kill some peaceful tourists that were just chilling on the beach. So here's the catch here. Ukraine was targeting military infrastructure. Ukraine also said multiple times that Crimea is not a safe destination for vacations. Russia knows it's not a safe destination for vacations, but of course, money talks. So Russia continues telling tourists that it's safe to be in Crimea while they're digging beach trenches and evacuating military families. Yeah, that sounds like a super, super sweet vacation spot. But anyways, Ukraine was trying to target military infrastructure. Russian Tor missile, which is an air defense missile, took down the missile incoming to military infrastructure right over the beach. So the missile fell on the beach and injured and unalived some of those tourists. Not Ukraine's fault by any means. First of all, occupied territory. Second of all, warnings have been issued since 2022 that Crimea is not safe. Vacationing in a war zone, not safe. Also, again, Russia never targets military infrastructure. Ukraine only targets military infrastructure. And it is actually so hilarious to me when Russians say that cruel Ukraine attacked something while they literally haven't been letting us sleep and Kharkiv live for the past 2 years. Hi, James. Good to see you. And not only that, But also, like, we have electricity for 6 hours a day because Russia purposely ruined our critical infrastructure. Like, cry me a freaking river. Like, you don't get to say anything about Ukraine fighting back. Anyways, the leaders of the there has been a lot of news in the EU today. The leaders of the European Union have agreed to reappoint Ursula von der Leyen as the head of the European Commission, according to the DPA agency. There were rumors that she might become the NATO chief, but basically her terms weren't coinciding, and I don't think she really wanted the role. I think that a lot of people wanted her to have the role because she's a woman and she's also fantastic, and that was like sort of something that was highly discussed last year, but she is continuing her post as the head of the European Commission. She's great at it, and she is where she should be. Additionally, EU leaders have decided to nominate former Portuguese Prime Minister Antonio Costa for the position of the head of the European Council. They also agreed to nominate Estonian Prime Minister Kaja Kallas for the role of the head of European diplomacy, a position currently held by Joseph Borrell. Honestly, yes to Kaja Kallas. Kaja Kallas is like infinitely better than Joseph Borrell in understanding the current affairs in the world. To be honest, anyone from the Baltics or from the former Soviet satellites is far more equipped to deal with European diplomacy today than anyone from Western Europe. And I say this responsibly because here is the thing. Western Europe is just catching up on the threat of Russia, and Western Europe is also largely in denial over the threat of Russia. So in a lot of cases, Western European leaders are really not taking things nearly as seriously and as rapidly as they should be. So I think there should be more people like Kaja Kallas who are qualified to deal with this threat and assess this threat in a legitimate manner, rather than just being like, oh yeah, no, it's going to be fine. Like, no. Negotiations on Ukraine's accession to the European Union have begun in Luxembourg, according to Deutsche Welle. And she has bigger balls. Yep, Colette, she does. The Ukrainian delegation, comprising of 13 members, is led by Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for European and Euro-Atlantic Integration of Ukraine, Olga Stefanishyna. Ministers from all 27 EU countries are participating in the conference, with Belgium's Foreign Minister Kaya Labib heading the EU delegation. The negotiations we are starting today will be tough and time-consuming. We are confident in your ability to bring them to successful conclusion with determination and dedication, Labib said. There is also these lovely remarks from the Turkish foreign minister that I do want to point out here because I am so tired of Turkey. Hakan Fidan made several statements regarding the situation surrounding the war in Ukraine during an interview with Haberturk. Here are the key points. Nuclear threat. He highlighted the ongoing risk posed by the statements from Russian President Putin about the readiness to use nuclear weapons. The risk will persist as long as the war continues. There was more risk of nuclear weapons use during the Cold War than there is now because the nukes haven't been maintained since the Cold War. We also know that Russia is all talk and no walk. Russia legitimately is crying wolf, and they've cried wolf every single time. Ukraine has crossed every single nuclear red line that Russia has posed, and nothing happened because Russia knows that the US is far stronger than Russia is when it comes to the nuclear weapons game. Cost of war. Fidan emphasized that the ongoing war's price for the region and the world is very high and warned that the risk could grow and spread, potentially bringing nuclear weapons into focus. Oh, really? Are you trying to say that it's time to go to the negotiations table? The same one that we did in Istanbul when Russia put forth an ultimatum of full disarmament and complete Ukraine's capitulation, and also us literally signing a paper that would rewrite our history to Russia's liking so it can fit their propaganda. Oh, and also we would have to sign a paper where we would have to state that Russia is allowed veto power on foreign military intervention if they invade us? Yeah, no, sorry. Strategic importance. He noted the critical importance of the Syrian region for both Turkey and Russia, while also stressing the significance of the Ukraine issue. Here's the thing. It's not the Ukraine issue. It's the Russia issue. And it's the war in Ukraine, which is a direct result of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, illegal full-scale invasion of Ukraine. I fucking hate it when foreign leaders call it the Ukraine issue. Ukraine is not the issue. It's the Russia issue, because Russia is the issue in the world. Global division. Fidan observed that global divisions are intensifying, with Russia, China, and Iran moving towards a structural partnership. Yeah, because there are legitimately dictatorships, fascist dictatorships that are in cahoots, and that's not that uncanny. Can you send this person over here to YouTube? Which person? The Turkish minister? I don't know. Peace and Russian position. He mentioned that Turkey has communicated to its interlocutors the necessity of peace for Ukraine and the need for Russia to clearly define its positions. He noted that shortly after these discussions, Putin outlined Russia's conditions for ending the war in Ukraine. Oh, the new ultimatum. The new ultimatum that includes Ukraine not only surrendering with international recognition the areas that Russia is already illegally occupying to Russia, but also the areas that Russia has lost to Ukraine, deoccupying them, and areas that Russia never managed to occupy. Yeah, for sure. That sounds like a great deal. Fidan remarked on the extensive destruction in Ukraine, where over 500,000 people have died and infrastructure is on the brink of collapse. He also pointed out that the conflict has now extended into Russia. Aw, I'm sorry. So when it was in Ukraine and all those people were dying, you couldn't give a slightest shit. But now that it's extended to Russia, how did the conflict extend to Russia? Are Russians dying because Ukraine is attacking peaceful Russian cities? Are Russian families forced to relocate because Ukraine is occupying those cities? Is Ukraine ethnically cleansing Russia's regions and erasing Russia's history and, burning books and stuff? I don't see that. Are Russian people suffering because of electricity outages that are a direct result of Ukraine ruining Russia's critical infrastructure? Because no, that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Negotiations process. He expressed optimism about the potential for negotiations, stating that a little help is needed to facilitate this process. He acknowledged that upcoming critical elections in Europe and the USA contribute to the party's reluctance to show weakness or be the first to propose peace talks. The only peace talks that Ukraine is ever going to have is after Russia's full withdrawal from Ukraine. There is no negotiation of peace with a fucking imperialist dictatorship that is currently torturing and occupying Ukrainian, not only military, but civilians. There were 31 prisoners of war that came back to Ukraine today, and every single one of them said they were tortured. Also, the number of Ukrainians that have reported having been tortured by Russia, and I don't mean military, I mean overall, is 13,000 people. 13,000 people have been confirmed to have been tortured by Russia in occupation, whether it be Ukrainian civilians or the military. Also, I love the idea of peace talks with Russia when this is the situation that we live in. Sorry for my shorts. They're very short, but I also sleep in them. But I will open this window so you know all the lovely people that love to talk about peace negotiations can hear this lovely air raid siren. Hear it? You probably can't hear it over the noise that my EcoFlow is making while it's charging. Oh, an EcoFlow is a literal massive power bank I need to use to make myself coffee when I don't have electricity. Thank you, Bob. And also to someone who was asking if I'm a dual citizen. No, I am a citizen of Ukraine. The sound of Russia's peace negotiations. So lovely. I adore it. Fidan reaffirmed Turkey's efforts to stop wars, reflecting the will of President Erdogan. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit what Erdogan wants? He's literally making money off of Russian tourists, and he's playing this to his own advantage. Finally, he commented on Europe's current stance, stating that it contradicts the values it fought for during the war against Hitler and the fascists, and is experiencing an erosion of values. Yeah, by not giving Ukraine exactly what it needs. Yeah, so Europe's current stance is contradicting the values it fought for during the war against Hitler? Excuse me? Yeah, the stance is not strong enough. I agree with him there. But he means that, Europe is on the wrong side. Okay? I cannot believe Turkey in its current state can be in NATO. Like, I understand that at the time at which they got into NATO, they weren't a fascist dictatorship, but Erdogan is a religious extremist and also, has some lovely dictatorship skills and features. Do I need to hide? Well, let's check, because as a Ukrainian who lives in this every night, we at this point basically identify 3 types of threats, right? And one is MiG-31 relocating from airfield to airfield. No one's gonna go to shelter for that. UAVs, if you're in Kyiv and in the center of Kyiv, you are most likely not going to need to go to the shelter, because the UAVs are not going to reach the center. They're going to be taken down on approach. Then there are cruise missiles. I used to go to the bomb shelter for cruise missiles, but we have a Patriot air defense system in Kyiv. And this is really stupid, and do not be me, but I cannot be bothered to go 15 floors down to my basement, to my garage, because of a cruise missile. The only time that I go to the bomb shelter is if I hear those cruise missiles being taken down outside of my window. Then I'm like, oh, fuck, well, that's dangerously close. I will go to the bomb shelter. And if it's ballistics, I will go to the bomb shelter, because that is, I have 2 minutes to get there. Maybe 5 on a good day. But in general, okay, so these are these are calibers. So actually, this is the type of air raid that I do need to go to the bomb shelter for. I stand corrected. 1 second. Okay, let me see something. Okay, well, they're heading. They are heading. Oh no. Okay, well, they're not heading anywhere towards Kyiv as of right now. Are they heading to the city? No, they're likely heading to Lviv. They're likely heading towards Lviv. But also, wait, before I go, I think we received a donation. Also, I'm not sure I need to go. But I think we received a donation. Let me see something. Robert M. Robert M. I am going to obviously assume that this is for the fundraiser because it's a large amount of money. So I'm going to add $200 to the fundraiser for Mikhailo. And we are at $652.68. Yulia is really smart and knows when she needs to go. Your life is more important than this live. Yeah, no, it is. But also, like, you guys, you know, if we were to go to the bomb shelter every single time that we had an air raid, we would be in our basements most of the day. And it's like, think about it. I am gonna go. Don't worry. Like, I'm gonna, because those are cruise missiles, but they're like, it doesn't seem like they're heading towards Kyiv, to be honest. At least the first group of them isn't. Here is one sec. Okay, let me see how many, because I missed how many TUs there were. Okay. Бапала. Курс північно-західний. It looks like there are a couple of batches of them. How are you tracking them? There are OSINT channels that track them for you and basically put out updates like every couple of minutes or so. I did not get a warning. Well, if you follow war_monitor on Telegram, it looks like this. It is in Ukrainian, but I'm sure if you pay for Telegram Premium, you can translate it. So it tells you, so there are many of them. I just prefer Monitor, but they tell you where they're moving. But basically, you know, when you live in this every night, like this happens almost nightly, okay? Like every night or every early morning, there is an air raid. If we were to go to the bomb shelter every single time it happens, we would literally, like, we would be underslept all the time and we would not be functioning because it's impossible. So at this point, it's just sort of like you have to pick and choose your battles. And I mean, like, you know, people in Odessa will go to the bomb shelter for BPLAs, which are, for like UAVs, because different air defense systems, right? It's just like kind of like based on what you know about your city's air defense and based on where you live in your city, based on sort of like these factors, you decide for yourself when you consider something dangerous, right? And it's like, I mean, it's not dangerous. It's just that, like, I don't think that there is a super high chance of UAVs reaching my neighborhood. Neither do I think there is a super high chance of like a cruise missile reaching here, although that's a much higher chance. Also, no one goes to the bomb shelter when the air alert says MiG-31 is moving from an airfield to an airfield, because that's just a MiG relocating from one airfield to another in Russia. And the protocol is that the entire country in Ukraine goes under air alert. But like, that's not, you know, like, it's just the protocol that the whole country has to go into an air alert state because there is a bomber jet or a fighter jet in the air. But in reality, it's just relocating, right? So there is that. And that's usually during the day. There are like many of those alerts during the day. I mean, like, you can have like 6 of them, one after another. Okay, I'm gonna read Armin's quote of the day. Napoleon was supposedly one of the most violent men who ever lived, supposedly one of history's greatest warmongers. And perhaps there is some evidence for this opinion. Nevertheless, this is how Napoleon instructed his soldiers regarding torture. The barbarous custom of having men beaten who are suspected of having important secrets to reveal must be abolished. It has always been recognized that this way of interrogating men by putting them to torture produces nothing worthwhile. The poor wretches say anything that comes into their mind and what they think the interrogator wishes to know. This military commander of centuries ago was more civilized than some of today's governments. That's very true, but also, like, you know, I mean, I mean, for him, it wasn't even civilization, right? It's just the fact that he's like, if you torture them, they'll tell you what you want to hear, and you want to know their real secrets without torturing them. But I mean, at least he had some sort of decency. Okay, I'm going to monitor the situation, but I do want to go over, like, I do want to go over some of the news. The head of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Dmytro Kuleba, announced that Ukraine will receive additional Patriot anti-aircraft missiles, as reported by Interfax Ukraine. That's what keeps us safe. We need more of the Patriot batteries, and we need more of the Patriot missiles, because those basically let me think that I can monitor the situation instead of living in my underground garage. Russia can put an end to the suffering caused by this war even today if it stops the occupation of sovereign Ukrainian territory and attacks on the civilian population, said the U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller in response to the explosion in temporarily occupied Crimea. Go ahead, Matthew. I love the response, because that was my response. As a result of the exchange of prisoners, 90 Ukrainians were returned to Ukraine. Among them are the defenders of Mariupol, the defenders of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, those who were captured in the Kherson, Donetsk, Kharkiv, Zaporizhia, and Luhansk directions. That's a very diverse group of military. Hi, Luann. Good to see you. I'm always so happy to see them come back. Any Azov? Not reported, but I did not see any Azov patches on any of them. There haven't been any confirmations or denials. I doubt there were any Azov POWs exchanged. An increase in Russia's use of dangerous chemicals to attack the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine has been recorded, according to the Military Media Center. Since the beginning of the large-scale armed aggression against Ukraine, 2,698 instances of the use of dangerous chemical substances by Russian forces have been documented. 2,698 instances of the use of dangerous chemical substances by Russian forces have been documented. So, in Ukraine, it is so incredibly difficult to live, right? And I mean, we know all the aspects of it, but I've said this a little while ago, right? But so for instance, when I wash my hair, you might think this is a stupid complaint, right? But the product does not come off of my hair unless I use that type of shampoo, the detox shampoo that strips your hair of any buildup of any kind. I can't use regular shampoo. My hair is so thin now because the only shampoo that comes off of my hair is the detox shampoo. So the scalp treatment shampoo, you can't use that every time you wash your hair. But if I use anything but that, I literally have clunks of hair that are sticky in the back of my head because I can't wash the product off. Why can't I do that? Because water in Kyiv got 16 times worse in the last 2 years. First world problems. Really? I wonder, really? Is it first world problems when literal fucking dams and HPPs are blown up in your country and people die from that? And so, in most cities in Ukraine, water is not drinkable and we can't filter it, and you don't have fucking electricity. You have it, 4 hours a day. Right now I have it. I've had it for intervals of 3 hours after 5 hours of not having it. So how about your dumb ass that sits on the couch somewhere in America who can get takeout and eats McDonald's every day, gets Amazon delivered tomorrow, and doesn't have any power outages, nor do you have water filtering issues because you can go and get yourself a nice $200 fucking shower head with a filter? Shut up, okay? And talk to me about first world problems from your couch somewhere in the Western world where you do not sit here under an air raid monitoring your phone to figure out whether you have to go to a bomb shelter or not. So why don't you get the F out of here before one of my mods does that for you? Okay? Nighty-night. Go enjoy some ice cream. Go get McDonald's. Better yet, order it. Order it on GrubHub. Because, of course, why get your ass off your couch and go sit in your car? That's too much effort. You can solve your first world problems by just ordering GrubHub, right? Or Seamless, depending on where in America you are. I think GrubHub. Okay, bye-bye. So anyways, 2,698 instances of use of dangerous chemical substances. And when I say this, like, I'm so petrified, right? Because I think that, like, all of this stuff gets into water. And so I got, like, a filtered shower head a couple of months ago, and it doesn't necessarily handle itself very well. I found a shower head from this company Canopy in the US, and I might actually order it at some point to come to my, yes, clarifying shampoo. Thank you, Jack. To come to my, well, it's called Detox. The one that I use is Detox, but it basically is clarifying shampoo, and you can't use that stuff every day because, like, my hair is literally, like, it's so thin. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's so frizzy and so thin because, like, you know, but I found a shower head that seems to be filtering out everything that I need to be filtered out. And I can ship it to myself from the US through Nova Poshta. And I'm going to do that at some point this summer because honestly, like, I'm going to like, you know, this is not okay. I'm also probably going to get one of those, like, little faucet filters because, like, I'm washing my, you know, like, my face with this. And I mean, my skin and my hair, and this is stupid, but they have never been so bad in my entire life. Like, I watched some of the videos that, like, you know, iPhones have this, like, oh, you lost year on this date. And it's like, and I, like, it was for some reason I, like, filmed myself after I, like, just had blow dried my hair, and I was like, wow, well, that's a difference. And I don't mean it in, like, a vain way, but it's just sort of like, you know, it is bad. Like, you can see how bad it is by comparing sort of, like, my, you know, like, I could tell how bad the water here is by, like, just looking back at me, like, you know, air drying my hair in New York and it just being fine. And here, like, no matter how many styling products I put on or no matter, like, what devices I use, it just constantly looks like shit because there's just all of this buildup. So anyways, I am in the market for a shower head with a really, really strong filter. Yeah. And the reason why I said dangerous chemicals is because water usually, water usually absorbs those. And I'm just, like, scared that, you know, we don't even know the type of stuff that's in our water in the past 2 years. The United States is discussing sending military contractors to Ukraine to help maintain and repair American weapons. CNN reports that discussions are ongoing within the Biden administration. The U.S. withdrew all its instructors and specialists from Ukraine before Russia's full-scale invasion, forcing the Ukrainian side to transport equipment to Poland, Romania, and other NATO countries for maintenance, which is time-consuming. With Kyiv set to receive F-16 fighters soon, maintenance will become an even more pressing issue. So here's the thing. Someone said, like, we love you all the same. I'm not saying, like, you know, I'm scared. Like, it's obviously annoying that my hair is constantly, like, sticky and, like, whatever, right? But that's not the point. The point is, like, the water is so bad here. It's not about today and it's not about how my hair looks or something like that. I'm worried about, like, thank you so much. I'm worried about, like, a year from now or 2 years from now, health reasons. Like, can you imagine how much shit is in that water? Like, it's so bad. And the water was never this bad. Like, we never had, like, perfect water, but it was never this bad. And now it's just sort of like, it's scary. Like, it's scary to wash my face. You know, it's scary to, like, take a shower. Like, anytime there is, like, water running down my face into my mouth, I'm like, oh, you know, like, I don't want this. But anyways, so what's going on with those F-16s? Complicated. Cannot, like, the thing is, if I do try to explain it, I'll give out too much. And so I would rather just not. Complicated. F-16s are complicated. Ukraine has surpassed Russia in UAV production, manufacturing 3,000 FPV drones per day, according to Forbes. Forbes technology journalist David Hambling compared the use of most common UAVs by Russian and Ukrainian forces. He noted that Russia's primary attack UAV, the Lancet, is more powerful than its Ukrainian counterparts and is primarily used for counter-battery combat. However, it often fails to destroy well-protected Western howitzers, such as the German PZH 2000, or ends up targeting high-quality mock-ups of weapons. Moreover, the Russian army receives only 300 Lancets per month. In contrast, Ukrainian industry produces 3,000 strike drones per day, which has a significant impact on the battlefield. Summarizing the comparison, Hambling writes, the Lancet is certainly effective, but it is overshadowed by other drones. In a war that requires both quantity and quality, Russia will lose both. That's the thing. Ukraine is like, Ukraine is really advancing all of our production and everything that we're putting everything that we can. And we are sort of winning this race because, Russia does it out of hate, and Russia does it with limited technology, with limited knowledge. And they, like my mama, it's kind of like a saying in Eastern Europe. It's like you do things through your ass, which means like you do them half-assed. So Russia does everything through their ass, and Ukraine at least tries to make it good quality. So before I go, because I am looking at these maps and I'm not thrilled, Prime Minister of Netherlands, Mark Rutte, is the one who is elected as the new Secretary General of NATO. And I could not be happier because Stoltenberg is not bad. He's not bad. But I think Mark Rutte is so much better and so much more understanding of the situation in the world right now. Okay, you guys, I will see you tomorrow because this is not great. I also cannot hear what's going on outside because my EchoFlow is charging. And actually, you know what? I think it's charged enough. It makes this like noise when it's charging. Yeah, it's 96%. You're fine, buddy. Go to sleep. Yep, thanks. Because it's really noisy when it charges. So I kind of want to hear what's going on outside because with this, I likely won't hear if something explodes. Okay, so good night, you guys. We'll talk more tomorrow. Also, my mom is going to be here tomorrow. So see you tomorrow. Bye. Wait. Okay, bye guys.